Hello there. I'm live here. I'm Jared Mello, and I'm live with Eric from the Secret Code podcast again. I don't know if you remember, but he was on back August 4th, and he's here again to talk about, guess what? The Secret Network. And we were just discussing, we were trying to figure out what the price was back on August 4th when we did this, and it was $1.08 back then, and now it's gone up to, I think, $2.27 for a second. But I think at this very moment, it's $1.93. So almost double from the time we did that. But anyway, how you doing over there, Eric?
Good. It's great to be here again, man. Thanks for having me back on the show.
Awesome. Awesome. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. You were very informative last time. You answered all the questions in a way that I never would have been able to at all. And I think the cool thing that's happened since the last time you were on is you work in crypto full time now.
Yeah. So I think I was hoping that would be an eventuality back then. And I was just kind of getting kicked off with my first role in the ecosystem. And I mean, it's crazy how fast this ecosystem moves, how fast crypto moves, Secret Network especially, how fast they deliver things all the time. And so, like back then, we're looking at like, hey, not financial advice, but you should buy Secret. And now we're disappointed that we're only double in price in less than 2 months. But yes, in that time, I'm no longer dealing, at least right now. I still can, but I've moved on. I've taken more positions and am going full on gung ho into Secret Network and into crypto, and I'm very excited and happy to do it.
Awesome. I know the crypto is kind of like the stock market on crack a little bit, where everything that happens in the stock market, it happens like tenfold in crypto. But how did you get involved in working full time with them to begin with? Were you approached by someone or were you offered?
That's a great question. So I started the Secret Code podcast completely independently. I have experience doing podcasting, and I miss Tor Bear, the head of the Secret Foundation. I miss his podcasts, and so on a couple calls or whatnot, people would like mess around with me, like, "Hey, Eric, when podcast, when podcast." And one day I was like, "You know what? F it, fine, podcast, let's do it." And immediately I had like 4 people hopping in my DMs, like, "Hey, bro, like, let me help you with your podcast. Let me help you with this." And I fielded I read through them or whatnot, and one guy stuck out. His name's Paul Menexis. He's the guy I chose as a partner. He gave me an offer. He's like, "Look, obviously you know how to do a podcast. I don't need to help you with that, but I can help you run a node. I can help you with all this stuff behind the scenes, writing articles and stuff." And the dude's awesome. And so that's been great. But then since we've been running the podcast, we've been talking to and meeting all the people from Secret Network, meeting the people from Enigma, getting involved, being in on the committee seats. And then while we're there, like just showing up and doing the job. Eventually, I got kind of voted in for the CFI Executive Committee, which I think we talked about in the last episode. And then through my work there, I've eventually got added on as a Secret Swap committee lead with Iowa Scaro, which has been super fun. And now that's like a legit position. And we're building a team, and we're going to go full on to try to develop Secret Swap as much as we can. So just right place, right time, willing to work and put everything into it.
So as a committee lead, what kind of responsibilities do you have?
So every committee has their own charters, which are viewable on the forums. That's going to be forum.scrt.network. And the charter will specify kind of what the leads are expected to do. Most committee leads will work like 12 to 15, sometime up to like 20 hours a week. And then they'll have other things that they do outside the committee. We're the only committee that's not actually secret specific. Like we don't even go to secret governance anymore. We go to CFI governance because we're the only app specific committee with our own token. So it's kind of weird that we're even considered the same. But the way we look at it, we're doing the job of all the other committees for Secret Swap. Like we do awareness, education, design, all of that kind of stuff. So we're putting in 40 plus hours a week each. And it's not enough, and we're actively trying to hire more people. We actually had some interviews today, and
that's actually pretty cool. Team. That's awesome. I mean, so what has kind of been the highlight since you've gone on board here? What's been the highlight of your experience so far?
So if you guys are familiar with the Secret Network, kind of the way we onboard people is the Secret Agent program, which great name, great program, and it's a way of getting the community involved and kind of putting them in positions where they can most likely succeed and contribute, and also getting them paid a little bit and resourced. Before it was rebranded to Secret, which we talked about a little bit on the August 4th episode, there was Enigma, and they had a type of program like this called Enigma Ambassadors. And I signed up for it. I wanted to be a part of it, and I was disheartened because I'm not a coder. I can do a lot of cool things, but I never took the time to learn Rust and these languages and whatnot. And so I thought I couldn't really contribute. And I'm like, look, I think that this is going to change the world, and I want to be a part of something that I believe in, an ethos that I think matters. And I've got kids. So back then I only had one. I've got three now. I want to be able to look back in a generation or two and show them like, hey, this thing that changed the world, I was a part of it. And these last couple months getting fully involved, I am. And that's special. Like there's the extrinsic motivation of making money in crypto and whatnot, but Secret Network's something different where we actually have a unifying ethos. We're actually doing something that matters. We're not just in it trying to money grab and be hungry. Like we are fighting for users, for data privacy and security in the next generation of the internet. And not just because it's going to make us money, but because it's the world that we want to live in.
That, especially right now in the day and age that we're living in, I think we're beginning to see like all the applications that privacy is going to have in the future. We have stuff with COVID stuff. We have stuff that just it's going to branch out into other things. And I think people are beginning to realize, yeah, in the social media era in particular, and with smartphones and with everything, privacy, programmable smart privacy too, that's so important right now. And I think if Secret's going to be adapted by corporations, by businesses, they're going to want their stuff private. So if this stuff's really going to go mainstream, I think Secret will be right there at the forefront, allowing and facilitating that process. Now, how long are we away from that? We're still pretty much in the crypto infancy here, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on how long do you think we are from those kinds of things coming to fruition?
I don't know. I mean, some of it's happening right now in the fact that the application layer for Secret Network starting to come out. We've got Altermail, which is going to be an email alternative that's actually provably private. Like right now, Web 2 will have Proton Mail as the most secure, but even then, there are multiple issues showing that it's not as secure as you think. And
what's it called?
Altermail?
Altermail. Oh, yes, let's talk about that for a second. Okay. I haven't heard of that yet.
Yeah. So it's it will kind of function like email, but they don't have your private keys. You only have your private keys. Instead of like a regular login, email, password, or whatnot, you kind of stick in your key. And if you put in a wrong one, they don't know. It's not going to be like, oh, you can't log in, because they don't know that it's not your private key. They don't have it to check it against. Proton Mail will let you hold your private key, but they generate it and allegedly don't store it. But there's provable examples where they did.
Right.
So like you're really trusting them. This is the first trustless system. And while it's starting out with like email and messages, or it could be like a Telegram or a Discord type thing, then you add Alter Pay, where now you're literally sending provably private transactions, and they could be done in any cryptocurrency and whatnot. All of this is secured on Secret Network, and they're doing a great job of actually marketing to companies with secured, like with data that can't be leaked, to law firms, to insurance agencies. Because if you think about all these Experian data leaks, Amazon Web Services like data leaks, or Cambridge Analytica, like any of these issues, Web 2 is more private than Web 3. And people hear the crypto and cryptocurrency and think that like, oh, well, it's definitely more secure. Like these are decentralized ledgers. I'm like, yeah, that are provably checked by everybody. Like there is no privacy on Web 3 except for this. And we're so far ahead of any competition. So I think we're a couple of like maybe even just one kickstart or catalyst away from being in the news everywhere. And once we are, there will be no going back, because a lot of the stuff can't exist without it. And technology doesn't go backwards.
No, not at all. And then it goes in the crypto world, it goes in the speed of light. And so we're coming up here on October. Secret has a ton of big things coming up in October here. So I was hoping maybe we could talk a little bit about some of the things that are on the itinerary for Secret this upcoming month.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, let me share a little.
Oh, you have your slideshow?
No, I'll just show a little bit of the roadmap right now.
Okay, cool.
That they just came out with. Let's see. Yeah, so over here on the roadmap, if you want to check out Secret Network that they're coming out with, there's like over 30 projects on the roadmap that have releases by the end of the year, which we're in like starting Q4 already. That's huge. But there's more that's not even on here. And the biggest thing, first and foremost, is a huge network upgrade that's going to take place towards the end of October called Supernova. And that's not only just going to upgrade the protocol to the latest versions of Cosmos, but it's going to give us IBC integration, the inter blockchain calls with the Cosmos ecosystem, which will allow us to be listed on Osmosis, which has tons of volume. And now we could trade with Atom and Osmo and DVPN and Akash and all the other things that we're built very similarly to, that our communities are close to, and just really combine on liquidity for that. There's the NFT marketplace. So our SNP 721 protocol, if you guys know ERC20 or ERC 721, that is the non-fungible tokens, art, collectibles, CryptoPunks. Huge in the news right now. They're doing baseball and football and basketball cards that are collectibles and not in print, but provably collectibles on the blockchain. We're going to have our own. We're going to have our own awesome marketplace and collections. If you're on Twitter, I know your audience. I know a lot of you guys are focused mostly on personal growth and relationship health, which is awesome. And one of the reasons that we're interested in this is because crypto, I think, applies to that, not only because caring about your investment and financial future, but also personal ethos and purpose. So, I mean,
So
I'm not
about IBC a little bit here. Is IBC something that specifically Secret has done, or is it a group of projects like with Atom, the Cosmos ecosystem, and Secret? Is it something they have all done together?
Cosmos built it. So,
Okay.
yeah, Secret is one of the many platforms that was built on Cosmos SDK, a blockchain starter kit that uses one set of contracts, Cosmosm contracts. It's built on Figment, but in general, yeah, it all ties back to Cosmos. The token for that is Atom, ATOM, which you could find on Coinbase.
Okay. And so then once that goes live, there will be pairs between like Secret and Atom. And then I think the other big thing I was reading that was going to do, it's going to remove the need for bridges. So there'll just be, you don't need a bridge, but you'll be able to swap right there.
So you won't need a bridge for that ecosystem. Now, where they're limited is a lot of them don't have bridges to Ethereum and to Binance Smart Chain directly to Bitcoin, which we announced. No more secret wrapped Bitcoin. It's going to be directly secret Bitcoin that Shinobi protocol came out with, which is going to be in October, which is huge. You could go directly from Bitcoin in trustlessly into private DeFi, which is, yeah, incredible. So we're actually going to bring the bridges in the other ecosystems, especially with privacy, to the rest of the IBC community. And so we're joining in also Terra Luna, the top stablecoin right now, or will be joining as well. So that community is growing, but we also have our own private focused stablecoin protocol coming out too that I'm incredibly excited about. And that's Shade and Silk, an entire new ecosystem built on Secret Network that's honestly completely groundbreaking.
Okay, so maybe we could just talk about that a little bit too, because I've been seeing stuff about Shade and Silk. And one of the community members on the Telegram, I'm always seeing them talk about it. I forget who's the one doing it, but what do you know about those things?
Okay. So I had on my show Carter Wetzel. He is their
That's the guy.
Yeah, he is their lead economist, and he's a member of the Secret Foundation. Brilliant dude. He does a lot in the ecosystem, and I had him on the show, and we talked through what Shade Protocol is going to be, and it is similar to Terra Luna in a way, but it's a lot more, and it's a lot different in terms of tokenomics. Shade will be a governance token of a lot of different platforms. Silk will be the name of the stablecoin. So so one Silk will be equivalent to $1, and arbitrage and increase of supply and demand will change that. But the only way to mint more, it's not inflationary. There aren't nodes that keep creating stuff. The only way to get more Silk and Shade is to burn into it. So if you're like, I want $100 worth of Shade, you have to burn $100 of Secret, or $100 of Secret Ethereum, or $100 of Secret Atom, as we have the IBC integration. And so you have to
Okay.
choose that, like, I want my value in this instead. And then other ecosystems aren't going to be mad about it. You're lowering their supply. But
Right. So
meanwhile,
how does it get burned though? How does that get burned? So you say you have Ethereum. How would it get burned to go into shade?
there will be smart contracts set up the same way the bridges work, where
Okay.
you deposit it on one side and it will mint something else on the other side. And then that will be a little bit of it will go to a treasury controlled by Shade, which is also super cool. And the rest of it will go to an address where it can never be recovered from.
And so the stable coin thing, what is the significance to you of like the stable coins? Why? Because on every network and every blockchain, they want to have their own stable coin. What do you think is the significance of that?
So the lack of privacy in current stablecoins. So like the first stablecoin was Tether,
Right.
USDT, and that means it's backed by dollars. Then you have attempts like over collateralized versions of stablecoins, and now Terra is the best current one where it is scalable because you don't have to have literal dollars in a bank account that's auditable that could be
Right.
stolen or something like that. But with privacy enabled, like now you can actually use it. You don't buy an ice cream cone and have everybody know that 4 years ago you bought this NFT and then you bought $400,000 of Titan and it went to zero and everybody's pissed at you, like what happened to Mark Cuban.
Right.
So like the lack of privacy is huge, but it's not just limited to dollars. You can peg it to anything, and you can make stable coins to anything, and you can make digitized and tokenized stock, Tesla stock, like anything else like that. I'm not saying they're doing it yet,
Right.
but any asset could be pegged to like through shade governance and through this model where you burn in and you could do leverage trading. Like the opportunities are truly endless. It starts off as a private dollar with incredible tokenomics, but it really really is limitless into an entire new ecosystem that enables privacy. And I mean the government actually talked about last month that they'd be interested in a private stable token. And it's like, well, we've got the first one.
Wow. I didn't know that either. What government said that? The American government?
The American government. I forgot which official it was. I'll try to bring it back later.
That would be pretty big too. And
Yeah.
so this shade or silk, it's going to be like a secret swap. Like how would people access this?
So they're building their own user interface where you can burn in directly. They're going to have an airdrop. So if you guys are in Secret or in Atom, staking either one of those will get you part of the initial airdrop.
Oh,
And
I
then
didn't
after
know that
that,
either.
and then yeah, so if you're staking Secret on the Secret podcast node or Secret Code podcast node, no, that will be the first way to get some. And then after that, the only way is to burn in, and you could go directly to their site and you could deposit the tokens that they accept, and you'll mint it, and then you can interact and you could trade with it on Secret Swap, on Sienna Swap, and yeah,
That's a
like I
big
said,
one. Now, even you and your partner there, you've started your own node. And we didn't really talk about that last time, but maybe you can talk a little bit about what it's like to run a node there too, because I think it's more complicated than a lot of people think. But what do you know about that process?
it's more complicated and it's more easy. It's weird.
Okay.
So even back with Enigma, I had always wanted to run a node, and it's a cool way of earning interest and supporting the community and strengthening the blockchain. And so it's kind of fulfilling to me to actually, like years later, be doing it. But it is my partner Paul that has been the one primarily running it. I've
Right.
kind of followed him along as we set it up. But there are good tutorials, and specifically Nodefather in the Discord is super helpful with setting all that kind of stuff up. But for the most part, we host it digitally. There are different web hosting services. I know chainofsecrets.org is one that hosts inside the community. And then also like Azure is a node hosting service. And you can host them overseas, remotely access them. You pay monthly for the hardware. And then it's up to you to make sure all the code's in. And most of it's upfront, and you just have to keep tabs on it. And if it goes down, you can get jailed. And so
Right.
yeah, it's interesting, especially yeah. Recently, we've had an upgrade, and we've got one or two upgrades coming up, and then all the validators kind of have to get together and like get the new code and make sure everything's running again.
Right. And so the responsibilities of running a node, you just got to make sure it's always up, it's not going to be down, or you could get jailed. And what kind of actual computer do you need? Because I've heard just a regular desktop probably wouldn't be sufficient, but you need something like a little extra.
Yeah, it is something a little extra. I don't have all the specs.
That's no problem.
I pay for
Like I
them.
said, I was just curious. Like I said, I was just curious. But so how about CFI? I know with CFI right now, they had an interesting September there for a minute, but they've kind of rebounded. And maybe for people who already have CFI, they're curious about what's going to happen. Do you know anything about the timeline on when like staking rewards will come back with CFI?
I sure do. And we're targeting early next week. And as soon as we have it finalized, we're going to go through the Secret Swap Twitter and announce to you guys. And we'll have a full write up about like how everything breaks down, what your next steps are. Because, yeah, the the DeFi incentive rewards on Secret Swap have been down for the last several weeks, but they will be highly incentivized for the first at least a couple days once it goes back live. And so if you at all you guys can get involved in that, you'll earn a lot more CFI than usual by liquidity writing.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised it's even been that long. Has it been a couple weeks since that's all happened?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
Man, the time just flies, man. I'll tell you. So far, we've been able to discuss IBC, self shade, discuss Silk. What else is on the horizon here? I think there's the Terra Bridge, right? That's another thing that's coming up.
yeah. So they actually dropped some more information on the Terra Bridge today. I need to catch up on that one. I love I love being in the know and being one of the first people to know stuff about it, but makes me even more excited I when I don't know something because I know I don't. It's like, oh wow, even more, even more. That's great. One huge development is Stash. So
Okay.
Stash is the name of our new NFT store. And I've been told there should be big announcements soon. I don't know what they are. I do get a lot of alpha, they'll call it, or like a little bit of private knowledge, especially with a podcast. We'll try to film an episode so it'll release along with a launch of something. I have no idea what it is, which makes me think maybe NDAs and other stuff. So
Right,
I'm
right,
hoping
right.
that means that is much, much bigger, but high up people are excited and that makes me excited. So hopefully
Okay.
we get some announcements coming soon.
I'm going to try to get you to speculate a little bit now too, because I know the guy from Enigma. He's been what's the word? He's been hinting at some major developments recently, and he's saying, I think he said about a couple weeks ago now that by this time next month, things will just be like out of this world. So speculating, I'm not saying you know the answers to this, but what do you think he might be talking about?
I think it has to. I think that there's going to be a big NFT announcement. I don't know this, but I do think so. So if you guys come back at the end of the month, like, hey, there wasn't any big thing. But I mean, not only going by his tweets, but like I have meetings with him. I just recorded a video episode with Tor Bear, the head of the Secret Foundation. So that's going to go live Sunday morning as my podcast episode this week, and we have a good talk. And he even says that in October there will be something cool for NFTs, and I don't know what it is,
Okay.
but it seems like it's going to be NFTs and it seems like it's going to be big because if the tweets are true, then he says that everybody, like not just crypto people, but everybody is going to know about secret NFTs. So
So Secret's going to have their own NFT store. And what kind of things will it be catering towards? Like who would be the ones selling stuff in the NFT store, for example, or purchasing for that matter too?
me and me. So I know there are already several art projects that are coming out. One
Okay.
popular one is the Anons. So if you're familiar with the crypto punks for Ethereum, we kind of made a version of that. And I'm not a part of that group, but a group of people made a version of that in Secret Network. And I think it's going to be capable of more. And they're keeping a lot of stuff under wraps because, secret. But
Right, right.
yeah, there'll be 580 unique NFT Anons. And that's not the only project. I am involved in a project that will be selling stuff on Stash, and the idea of selling NFTs, like sure, NFTs are art right now, but there's so much more. That's just how people get onboarded to them. In the future, NFTs are going to be absolutely everything. And what I'm working on, I love games. Can't give too much away. It's not the lottery, which I'll present later on here, but it would be NFTs. It would be game related, and it would not be art. And it would be
So
really
that's
cool.
another avenue I want to talk about too, the gaming avenue. But so what's the competitive advantage of a secret NFT versus just all these other NFTs we see out there?
Secret NFTs have private metadata,
Okay.
And what that means comparably is when you give somebody a different NFT, not only can they trace it to your wallet, I know a couple of public figures who have NFTs, talked about Mark Cuban earlier, but they're like, man, I wish I could move this somewhere without doxing myself. Like they literally they can't do anything with it, or everybody's gonna know their wallet. And once they know your wallet, they know everything about you. It's completely unusable, especially when you're gonna eventually use NFTs as like baseball tickets, movie tickets, or whatnot. Another thing that's huge about it is access control. Because you can send messages and encryptions directly in the NFT and only have them be accessed by the person who gets it, because you can share private versions of links where people don't actually have the key but have access to the key. Now you can unlock subscription models. So if we have a music platform that like, a lot of musicians are releasing their albums as NFTs now, if they release an NFT on Ethereum or something, once people have it, they can be like, oh, here's the link to their episode, like kind of like sharing Netflix passwords. And
Oh,
then
okay. Okay.
if you release more, people would have to buy one more NFT or whatnot. With this, you can have people subscribe, where if they don't pay that month or whatnot, they lose access to that private key that they had access to but didn't actually have, and they could never actually share that with a friend. People would have to purchase it, and so subscription models are huge. They're
Oh,
taking over
that's
everything,
huge.
hmm
That's
and it
huge then.
only be done
For
on secret NFTs.
artists, people would love that. Gaming world would love that. Anyone who sells a product would love that. So like people do
Right?
private communities on YouTube. People do it's like Patreon stuff, right? It's
Yeah,
very similar to that kind of concept, and that's the scope of that's just incredible. And so, like as we talk about this, I just want to explain to the people maybe watching or will watch later that I try to go back and forth between talking to the people that kind of know about this stuff in the Telegram, and then also talking up to people who have no idea what secret is, and trying to keep it general so that like if they don't know what secret is, they've never bought into secret, they can say okay. And the way we're talking about it, we can appeal to both sides of the equation there because there'll be people that, oh yeah, they're from the Telegram. They'll want us to go in depth because they could think, oh, we already know, but this, we know most of this. But then the people who have nothing about secret, they're not going to know any of it. So like, I'll try to keep it back and forth between the two, you know?
sorry about the heavy use of jargon.
No, that's completely fine. That's completely fine. So, as I was saying, though, the gaming stuff, maybe we can go into that because what do you think could be going on in the gaming world with Secret, and what could Secret, how could it benefit the gaming world?
So I got excited about this late 2018. Tor Bear ran his own podcast. Back then, it was Decentralized This. He ended up starting a new one called Sharing Secrets. It's been on a hiatus for a while, but his episode 4 in Decentralized This with coin artist Marguerite de Courcelles. They talk about the future of NFT gaming, where instead of each game having their own in-game currency that doesn't have value, now there's just one in-game currency that goes across platforms. If you unlock a skin in this game, you can move it and move your character over to this game. You can invent worlds where the players can keep developing the world endlessly, and you don't have to rely on a centralized company to keep building it. Think every single Call of Duty becomes Minecraft, and you own every single thing in it, and you can resell it. Artists who don't even play video games can be creating skins and guns and whatnot and sell them directly to players. And now they're professional like video game artists when they're not hired by a company and they don't have to be playing those games. It's absolutely huge for the possibility. And they're talking about this in 2018. Well, now it's starting to come out. Now NFTs are popular. Nobody talked about NFTs back then.
Right.
And they're starting to, and they're still working on not only blockchain games but hybrid games. Like I'm working on a couple, not quite video game level, but just the gaming industry will be forever changed by the control of value and the endless opportunities for decentralized growth.
Okay. So here's another kind of random question, but how do you think all of the gamers, the artists, the celebrities, and whomever, how will they learn about this stuff and how to use it? Like, who's going to be the ones teaching them? Because I
We
doubt a lot of them will learn themselves, but
I look forward to not only more tooling being built in the ecosystem, especially for Secret Network.
because this
Grip
is going
tape,
to be big.
yeah, it's
Like
gonna
this,
be
the
huge.
actual learning of it will be like a humongous field in and of itself. Like, oh, where do you go to learn about NFTs and exactly how to use them? Where do you go to learn about Secret and how to use their ecosystem? Like, this is going to be, I think, it's going to be a need. It's going to be a need because for some people, they're going to feel just overwhelmed and they're
Yeah,
not going to know where to start. So,
I graduated college with my bachelor's in 2016, and there were no crypto classes at my college. A couple of them, MIT had guys Iskin himself teaching classes at
right,
MIT in 2015. So there's been like now most colleges have crypto courses on Bitcoin, some deeper. This is going to, I think it's going to become a major. Then there are going to be multiple majors. Like this is going to be the new computer science. And then there are going to be more and more Udemy courses, more and more tutorials. Like there was Crypto Zombies that was really popular in 2018, 2019 to get people to kind of learn Solidity easier. But the more people develop, the education will come. Awareness is coming quickly,
right,
and education's trying to scale.
right. Because I think, like on the grand scale here, the older generation, as they die off, the newer generations, they're going to be the ones that are knee deep in this stuff, right? So let's face everyone under like 50 right now. They all know about crypto. And so once the people that are like over 60 now, they start to go off at the end, then like everyone in the world, they're going to know what crypto is. It's not going to be a foreign concept to them. They're not going to be tied to their old way of thinking like, oh, some people still do think the crypto is just the wild, wild west. And it's like the tulips in Amsterdam. And they still think that. But I don't know how they still think that, but some people still do. But they're not going to be able to think that for that much longer here. So it's going to be pretty big. And then maybe on a side note, the secret here too, there's been a lot of just like FUD in general in America right now with maybe taxing unrealized capital gains. I saw. What else did I see? There's the Alibaba thing. There's China doing something silly again and expanding their what quote unquote ban on crypto. Is that what they've done?
Yeah, they banned it for like a 50th time or something. Every year they
Right.
ban crypto. It's more banned. This time it's extra banned.
Right. And so they're not going to be able to stop this. I don't even know why they're even trying at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah, the technology is not going away. I mean, this was created in 2008, so like 13 years ago, and it's already the legal tender. It replaced the US dollar as the default legal tender of El Salvador, and that's only the
Right.
first country. And so it used to be fake internet money, and then it's like, oh, real, but nobody's going to use it. And then it's like, oh, yeah, but only small companies are using it. And now it's like a default on the treasury, and 401ks and whatnot are trying to buy in, and it's becoming an arms race. And that's just for Bitcoin. I don't know if that's going to succeed or not. Well, like succeed being the global reserve currency. It's already succeeded
Right.
hugely. But I mean, millennials, and this is an out, so it's probably even more the case now. But millennials, over 10% had exposure to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and less than 1% had exposure to gold and silver. And we who grew up with, I'm 27, so we who grew up in the digital age with computers and like Google and Facebook and all this kind of stuff, we always expected money was going to be digital. And the generation that's 50s and 60s, they didn't, and they grew up being told that gold and silver was safe. It's not. Inflation's going through the roof, and gold's still going down. And we're like, well, why peg it to Bitcoin? Why peg it to gold? Because it was shiny.
Right.
Dollar's got to be pegged to something.
Right. It does. I mean, just overall, the crypto gains are actually what we need right now in comparison to how fast inflation is going up. And to me, it's so important for people to get this stuff when they're younger. So if we could teach people, for example, when they're 17, 18 years old, when they're right about able to start investing, teach them about the crypto world. When they're younger, they're able to take more chances. And even like if you just did something consistently in just a basic crypto, so say Secret right now, they just start right now putting like $100 a month or a week into crypto. Over the course of time, I mean, maybe only 3 to 5 years, that could be an incredible sum of money. And I think to me, it's clear. But to a lot of people, I don't think it is clear. To a lot of people, they just don't think that way. But like, because you're in Secret, you're in CFI, we make money every night while we're sleeping. And I think as Warren Buffett said, right, if you don't make money while you sleep, you'll work until you die. Well, yeah, that's exactly how it is right now. So, and especially with the staking percentage of Secret where it is right now, like it's still what 28%, 29% right now.
Yep.
And as this price begins to go up, and like say people have like pretty large sums in there, then all of a sudden that 28%, that could be like a full-time salary for some people when they get enough money in there, right?
Yeah. And
And I was telling my little brother this the other day. He was kind of flabbergasted because he's in VChain still, because I was in VChain at a point too. But I was telling him, oh yeah, the secret staking percentage is 28%. And he was like, oh wow, that's a lot of money. And I was like, yeah, I kind of forget about it too sometimes, but depending on where that price goes in the next 6 months to a year, like that's a lot of money that could be flowing through there. And then it would just like the staking percentage would go from like 15 to 7 over time, or the inflation percentage would go to 15 to 7% over time, right?
yes.
Okay, just making sure. And what is the percentage? Do you know? Like for the TVL, what does the TVL have to be for the staking percentage or the inflation to go to 7%?
So the inflation's based on the Cosmos SDK system, and that we have it
Right.
the default setting 7 to 15%, and the target bonded rate is 66.7%, so 2/3. So,
Okay.
and then it still scales. It'll take time to reach it, up to a year. But the more people are staking with their tokens, so the less the circulating supply, which we still have the circulating supply included in the listings, but realistically, there's a 21-day unbonding period. You can't be like selling it or using it for liquidity or whatnot. So the more that
Right.
are bonding, the lower the inflation. And the inflation is also distributed amongst those bonding. So when you say it's like 29% interest right now, it's because the inflation's 15% and the bonded rate's about 50%, just over 50. And so you're taking that 15% inflation and you distribute it to only half the people. So it's like 15 divided by 0.5 or times 2, and you get the 30%. So once it's a higher bonded rate and lower inflation, now you're getting like 7% divided by 0.9, and you got like a 9 or 10% staking reward. That's where the Atom token's out right now. So that one's
Okay.
based on bonded rate.
So is that about what is the minimum it could ever be for secret? Do you know?
The minimum 7%, and if 100% of tokens were bonded, then the staking percent would be 7%. But we can also always lower inflation via governance. Like we could always
Okay.
take a vote and change those parameters. They're not set in stone forever.
So realistically speaking, though, there will never be 100% TVL. What do you think the record would be, or do you think there could be? It could be 100%.
It could not be 100%, but you've kind of reminded me of two more great projects coming out potentially in October, November.
Good.
And
Good.
one of them is derivatives. So
Okay.
about yeah, the idea with derivatives is you can make a token that represents a token that is staked, and then you can interact with that token. And so if we set up liquidity pools that you can interact with on Secret Swap, where you can trade from the DX secret token, which would be the derivative if you're taking calculus or whatnot, the derivative secret token to the secret token. I mean, it probably wouldn't be directly 1-to-1 rate, but it'd be really close because you're still provably having that secret. It's just you're kind of skipping the 21-day unbonding period, so you'd still have rights to it, and maybe you'd still be getting the inflation, but probably a slightly smaller version of it, so that the validators incentivized to run this. But you'll still be earning the staking rewards, and you can still liquidity provide with that money on the secret swap. So now
Oh shit.
why not have all the tokens staking and just completely interact with the DX tokens?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I could see that too. I wasn't aware of that project either. So basically, you can double dip on that. You can stake
Dude,
and liquidity provide at the same time.
the double dipping opportunities here, like it seems like cheating, but it's incredible. And so you guys might be hearing about this for the first time. 28% rewards, that's not sustainable. Like what's going on with this? Like that means it's going to zero. Like this isn't just with secret staking. Like that's not even the highest rewards you can get. And some of them are no risk. You can make more than that literally keeping your money in dollars. And this is the stuff that banks already do with your money. I mean, 20 years ago, the banks were
Yes.
giving you 6-7% interest. Now it's 0.0002% or something. Like they still make that kind of money with your money. Like they do incentivize liquidity provision. They just now we can do it too. And through the technology being built, we're creating new stuff. So have you heard of Duplex Finance?
No. No.
Okay, so this is one of Guy, the head of Enigma. This is one of his brainchilds, and
Okay.
we partnered with Key Tango. And so the way a bridge works is you'll take like, so say the Ethereum bridge, you'll take an ERC20 token or Ethereum itself, and you'll bridge it across, and that token will sit in this wallet. And by going there, it will trigger minting in a NIP20, so a secret token representative of it, and then you can interact with that on the exchange. And it's not like literally the Ethereum token in the contract. The Ethereum token sitting over here, and you're interacting with just another representative token. It's just like going to a casino and you give the dealer a $5 bill and they give you a $5 chip. It's not $5, but it's provably worth $5. Well, what they're doing with Duplex now is instead of just leaving those Ethereum tokens just sitting there, they're having Key Tango wrap it up with the rest of their investors and investing it in Compound on Ethereum network, which like supplies over collateralized loans that can earn 12-13% interest. But meanwhile, the secret token is going to be in incentivized liquidity pools for cross-chain stable pools. So if you have it in secret dollars, we can have a bunch of different versions of secret dollars. So one that interacts on Binance Smart Chain, on Ethereum, on Harmony One, on Cosmos, Silk, secret UST, regular UST. We can have all of those together. And so people can swap between blockchains depending on what bridge they want to go to. And not only will they be earning trading fees, but they'll also be earning CFI for the extra liquidity and potentially even Shade or Silk or something. Like they can be earning multiple rewards there. But then the rewards from Compound come back and are going to purchase back CFI, and then they get even more there. So they're talking about 40-50% APY on literally keeping your money in dollars. So like with the example of the $5 bill and the token, so you give the dealer the $5 bill, the dealer's investing that safely. So that $5 bill is turning into more, but you're also investing the casino chip. So you're going to come back with $6 or $7, but you're not even getting a 1-to-1 rate. Now you're getting a 1 to 1.1, 1.2 rate, and you're turning that $7 back into $9 when you collect it. Your money's literally invested in two different places at once in dollars, 40-ish% interest.
So let's rewind the tapes here for a second. So to get to the derivative thing, where would that? So say you have secret right now, and it's not all. Say I don't have all my secrets staked, or maybe I'd put my rewards into this. How would that project work? How would that go down?
So I am actively working on getting one of the guys working on this on the podcast, because I absolutely know how it can work in theory and how all of it works. But I have no idea how they're actually building it. And it's incredible.
So I'm trying to think how it would work. And
yeah.
I'm like, okay, would it be like a secret swap type place where you have your secret and then you are able to buy this other thing that acts like imitative secret or imitative coin that stakes? I don't know. I've never heard of this kind of thing, so I'm just guessing.
I think a couple places have something like it. I think this isn't the first derivative. Duplex is completely first of its kind. Derivatives were not the first. Some people will call it like liquid staking or something. But it's also a lot harder to do on secret network. So I'll get back to you on that, and I'll touch base with you once I field that podcast, hopefully end of October or something.
Who does that now then? Who does the liquid staking now?
I don't know. I've heard about it. I need to look into it more.
Okay. So overall though, I just think if people were to learn about this stuff, getting the word out of this, people would be just ecstatic to hear about it. They'd be ecstatic to be able to make money on their money so many different ways. And for me, once the word is out, there'd be no reason why people wouldn't like flock to this stuff like moths to the light. Which reminds me, I've heard they've hired a massive marketing person now, right? That was the big thing in the Telegram for a while. When marketing? Well, now finally they have that going on. And so do you know anything about what that's going to be looking like or what they're doing?
I know bits and pieces. I've talked to him. He's in the committee meetings. He's very real. He exists. He was with them at the Masari Mainnet conference in New York City last week. His name's Jay. Very cool dude. Tons of experience in marketing. And he's the one that got us, or got it. I don't have one yet, but got everybody the privacy hats that you might have seen on Twitter.
You know what? I didn't realize that was him, because I think I met him when he first came into the Telegram like a couple months ago.
Okay.
And what did I do? I told my buddy who told me about Secret initially to tell Tor, because he talks to Tor all the time, hey, this guy wants to help. And so I think my buddy sent it to Tor, and the next thing you know, now he's the marketing guy.
Hey, well, thank you so much for getting us a marketing guy, man.
There you go. So that was pretty cool. That's how it went down. But he acted like, and it did seem like he knows exactly what he's doing. He's got a lot of experience in this stuff. And I was like, yeah, because normally I wouldn't pay attention to someone who's just spouting off like that. But the way he was talking, I was like, yeah, you know what? This guy actually knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about here. So I
He's
let my
got the
buddy know.
reviews are great. So
Right. So I let my buddy know, and he let Tor know, and then boom, it's good.
heck yes. And then also above that, I believe that there are going to be PR firms, and it's not we hired a marketing director, but we're actually ready to spend money on marketing. So the last 4 years, people were like, "Oh, when marketing? Like, what's the point of building product if there's no awareness?" To my knowledge, there will be a massive push for awareness in Q4 as now there's stuff to advertise. So the only thing I can really see that's missing is the ease of access, but we've bridges open. Access through osmosis is huge, and hopefully we get some more listings and more ease of access, especially in the United States. We'll
Well,
see.
that's another thing to talk about here in a second.
Yeah. We're
But
hard to
but
ignore.
but overall, though, the more patience people have, right, the more stuff Secret does behind the scenes, the more actual working products and tools they have. When actual marketing is really full blown, the better it will go. And so the longer we wait to build all of these things before like the full blown marketing comes to play, like it's gonna just be that much better. Because if they would have done all this before, like you could sell like the hype of the things we were going to do, but it's not the same. It's not the same as actually having them here already. And oh, now it's here. Look what you can do. You'll be able to do this thing with the duplex you were telling me about. Like all of these things that people will just, I think they're going to be head over heels for. And I know you were saying last time, for example, you're expecting or hoping, I should say, for a $40 secret this cycle. But I mean, things can happen so fast in crypto that I can't say you're wrong. I can't say that's even too high to shoot at this point because we saw Terra. Terra did something very similar, right? Terra was at $4 or $5 not very long ago, and now it's like what 37. Like, and that's what that was a couple months ago. It was $4 or $5, and so and the market cap of a Terra is many times the market cap of a secret. And so when you think about that, you think about the fact that Secret is not on very many exchanges right now. It's kind of difficult, especially for Americans to get. So you got that to look forward to as well. And then the same thing for CFI. CFI, that when that starts getting listed on places, like so many good things to look forward to here, really.
Yeah, I mean, without a whole lot more awareness and with difficulties over the last 2 months, has doubled up. And if we get the awareness, if we get newspaper articles and people all eyes on Secret, people don't look once they see what we're offering and realize what it's so necessary and has to take place. That there's literally no other competition right now. We're over a year ahead of everybody. It's going to be huge, and we're 2x's away from over $30, close to $40. So it's really not that hard if you think about scaling exponentially.
So you actually just reminded me. I think Tor is actually having an interview with someone from a financial magazine. Was it from Forbes? Or she wanted to know something about privacy. And a lot of people on Twitter were saying, well, Tor's the guy you need to talk to if you want to learn about privacy in crypto. Is she from Forbes? Is that where that's from?
Which one? He's doing lots of interviews and lots of podcasts. Part of the marketing initiative is getting his face and voice everywhere. The dude is brilliant, an excellent speaker, and knows what he's talking about. I literally yesterday recorded an episode with him. I can't wait to release it. I hardly any editing at all, and if it was mostly on me because the dude just goes up, speaks, brilliant, and he's right. He's
MIT.
Can ignore him.
I mean, MIT graduate, right?
Yeah, MIT. He worked for Snapchat, options trading. He's brilliant dude. And if you've ever heard him speak, Tor, Tor, Bear, Bair, look him up. Or if you look up Secret Network on YouTube, I think he's gonna be the one that shows up.
I actually did not know he had worked for Snapchat. I did not know that. No, he did. And so, like overall here, we see Bitcoin where it is right now, around 43,000. I still think all of these things happen in the short term, But if you zoom out and you take a look at the picture, I still think there can be $100,000 Bitcoin this cycle, me personally. And because it always looks dark. It's darkest before the dawn, dark and all those cliches, blah, blah, blah. But like here it is 43. Everyone's like, oh no, we're in the bear market again. We're bear for years. But if you look back at what it did in the last one of these, 2017, so similar. And people just forget, I think, or they just choose to ignore because it's the same exact thing. And then all of a sudden, boom. So we're coming up on what I would think is probably an almost boom again soon, probably like late October, November, if I had to guess. But there's like just a lot of noise in the meantime that tricks people, and it always seems like they're doing stuff so that when people are really bullish, the longs are being liquidated, and then when people are really bearish, then all of a sudden the shorts are getting liquidated, and then once they've done enough of that, whoever's like massively moving the market, then to the moon it goes. I mean, and my whole thing would be these corporate guys and the institutional money, they're in Bitcoin and Ethereum. They didn't do it just for like a short-term blurb. Like they wouldn't have told all of their investors and all of their clientele about Bitcoin and Ethereum if they weren't in it for a long haul. And I think people forget that too. It's like, what do you think? They think they're going to buy in all this just to sell like 6 months later? Like, who do you think they are? They're not here for that. They know the long-term game. They know to zoom out, because if they just hold it, it's going to be a freaking good thing for them. So like, to me, I only say that because we're still on course for that. So it's not even October yet. I think, if anything, the market pushes back each time a little bit. So like last time was like December when Bitcoin got back to like 20 grand. So this time, February, January, February, March, I could see some pretty high numbers for Bitcoin at that point.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And whenever people are like, "Oh yeah, this cycle's done," like we'll come back in 4 years, and I'm like, "Yeah, is everything else globally fixed? Is the 2 weeks to stop the spread working? Did the U.S. just kind of figure out their financial issues and start using sound economic policy? Because everything else is getting more and more destable, which makes Bitcoin more and more attractive." And I'm not a TA expert, but from my analysis, I would predict $140,000 to $170,000 Bitcoin this cycle. And like we haven't even been in the news as much as the GameStop MC thing. And the way crypto works, we will be. Bitcoin will wake everybody up, not just the at work, like, oh man, yeah, Bitcoin went up to like 40K. Dude, I wish I bought that. It's when they're holding on to everything like, oh my God, like a whole new economy started and I missed out on it. Like there will be fear and there will be absolute euphoria. And we haven't even had an alt cycle yet where billionaires just start popping up all over every place. Like people think it was like 4 years ago, and every single one, they grow exponentially. So that's,
I mean,
I guess I still think $80 end of year secret, and a lot of people call me crazy, but I mean, I've been saying that since it was 25 cents.
I mean, what do they? The expression is like this. They'll say first they'll ask you like why do you think that, and then they'll ask you how. How'd you do it, Eric? How'd you know that? And so, but this is how, like, this is the time. I was telling my little brother just the other day that when it's not fun, when it's like icky, that's the best time to invest in this stuff. So
There's blood in the streets.
So like right now it's like in a lull, no one's really talking about much. Like it's not like exciting, quote unquote, right now. But this is the most important time to put money in, like right now, because this whole thing, I don't think there's going to be drawn out bears anymore either. Like I still think there's going to be another pop in the cycle, but I don't think there's going to be these drawn out bears for like 3 to 4 years like they were. I think there's enough institutional money in the space now that it's not going to recede that much. It could still recede, of course, but it's not going to recede like 20,000 back to 3,000 kind of recede. I think those days are over. I think that's over. I think there's a lot of money here and it's here to stay. And these altcoins, specifically at the ones around the market cap of secret, that's the stuff that's really going to pop. and even CFI around what 10 million right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so who knows how good that could go? I mean, it could be unbelievable. So,
I'll work my
and
hardest to
you,
make it.
and because you get paid most of your salary in CFI, right?
Yeah.
How does that even work, though? I'm not sure if you want to talk about that, but like, how does that work?
I'll let you know when I get it. No, so the committees go to governance. So again, all the other committees go to secret governance, which is public, and the validators can vote DPoS. And if it passes, like they'll have a spend proposal, like the leads will make this much, the community, like there will be a bounty system with this much, and ours will go to CFI governance, and we'll say like we apply, and we'll say like we'll do this much work for like 3 months for this much CFI, and if it gets approved, send us the money, we keep working, and if it doesn't get approved, then crap.
Okay.
Hopefully they fill our roles with
So
somebody.
two more questions about CFI for you. I know you say we've been trying our best to get listings and things. You know anything about anything like that going on?
Yeah,
Eyebrow wink.
I do.
You don't have to say if you don't want to. So,
Uh,
what was the other thing I was going to say?
if you're
Uh,
looking for CFI listings, you won't have to wait long.
Oh, that's a great spoiler there. No one's going to lie about that, or not unhappy about that, I should say. But then the other question I had is, did they already start the C5 burn they were talking about before? Because they agreed to do these burns, right?
Proposal 14 was a buyback burn based on 0.05% of trade volume that has not been instituted yet. I think right now we're just focusing on getting earn back live. But I mean, there was a burn. It wasn't the one we set out to make, but by default, kind of the way that everything happened with the exploit, the earn tokens going down, the unclaimed CFI kind of is no longer accessible. So by default, it was a burn. And I'm actually building an application that will come out pretty soon that will also burn CFI. So we're going to have multiple buyback programs, multiple burns, and there's a maximum supply. So this is eventually going to be deflationary, and it's going to govern many applications. So if secret work gets huge, CFI is going to get huge.
And to me, just with market cap potential, where secret or CFI is now, there's so much that could happen. And CFI's kind of been, that fits the description of a little bit of boring right now too, because it's kind of had a little bit of a lull after that fiasco. So we're in a little bit of a lull. It was kind of going up pretty steadily before that, went to like 6 and something cents. In a lull now though, but this is again, that's the time to buy is now with CFI too, I think, because like even just getting to 10 cents is a 3x, and all of a sudden your $100 is buying 1/3 of the amount that it would buy right now. Like that's how fast this stuff gets away from you. Like, and then it's just like that, boom, done.
What would make it not in a lull for you?
What would make it not in a lull? I mean, it's stupid, but just a listing and some price action, then that's all it takes for the mood to change. You know that. It's silly.
How about utility and really, really cool games?
I mean, I would do it just like the excitement and the buzz about it, in say the Telegram or the Discord or Reddit. That's really what does it. Like but often it coincides with price. But then, like when there's announcements, then all of a sudden you see the whole energy change, right? You see the energy change. Everyone gets bullish, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I gotta get more CFI. What am I doing on the sidelines here? Or I gotta get more I gotta stake more secret. And then other times though, things go like to the bottom of the U, and people are like, when marketing, what's going on, Tor? What are you doing? And like you see all of it. But like when you zoom out, like Tor always says, stake, accumulate, chill. When you zoom out, that is always just the best advice, especially with secret and CFI. It's like if you do that, you'll be good. I mean, I don't want to say there's guarantees out there, but you'll be good. You'll be good if you do that.
So I know my expertise is in the gaming industry. I was a table games dealer. I'm a banned card counter. I pretty much can't play blackjack anywhere. I turned down extra promotions. I led a think tank at the #1 casino in California and was responsible for pretty much all their changes, for adding side bets, getting rid of side bets. I caught bets that somehow they pushed through. Should have gotten people fired, but didn't. Like I'm I'm very good at game theory, and now with the opportunities being provided by DeFi, I've been working on multiple projects to juxtapose my game theory knowledge in the gambling industry, potentially, and the incredible incentives and efficient metrics in DeFi. And so the first application coming directly to SecretSwap, the first and not the last, we're going to try to get as many applications and as many different things being built in the ecosystem as integrated as possible in SecretSwap. We want it to be a one-stop, fun, interactive DeFi shop that uses and burns CeFi for users and for people coming into Secret Network. But I built a lottery that is going to be very often plus EV. Do you know what EV is?
Well, you return.
Yeah, so EV
So
stands
even money, like plus 100 in the betting world is like even money.
right. So why not plus 102? So like literally expected value, like something that's gameable where you're actually expected to make money playing a lottery instead of like I live in California where not only does 51% of the buy-ins go to taxes, but then when you like if you actually win the lottery, which I don't believe really happens, but whoever wins the lottery, then they're like, oh, well, if you actually want that prize, we'll give you 65% of it. And then you tax at like 50% of that 61% of that 49% you got. So 80 plus percent of the money is going to taxes. It's a complete joke of a ripoff. And I'm telling you that more money can go to the players than comes in, and it will burn DeFi.
That sounds spectacular.
It seems like a scam, right? It doesn't sound real.
It seems that way, but that doesn't seem real, no.
But
you're the one developing this now.
But you want me to walk you through it?
Yeah, you can put it back up there. I'd forgotten we were talking about this before we even went on.
I'm giddy because it's finally my brainchild kind of getting behind this. So. Guys, forgive me. I am terrible at design. I'm good at game theory and stuff. I'm terrible at design. I was really good, but I didn't fully use all of his stuff yet, so it won't be super standard. But this is something to around with for a Secret Swap committee meeting. So plug for our committee Wednesdays at 4:00 UTC. That's 9 o'clock Pacific Standard my time, 12 o'clock Eastern. Wednesdays in the Secret Network Discord. Hop on, and Scaro and I, his name's Ethan, great guy, will be leading conference calls talking about Secret Swap and doing stuff like this. So the CeFi lottery.
And this is for those who just are tuning in now, a plus even money kind of lottery. That's what this is.
But potentially
you make money.
Yeah, that is conditional, but it's very easy to reach those conditions. So yeah, I'll kind of walk you through how it works. So you can buy tickets with CeFi. This only uses CeFi. And the way the percentages work, which I'll get into soon, will incorporate after the discount. So the more tickets you buy, you get them a little bit cheaper. So you can the maximum discount's 12.5% if you're buying 500 plus tickets, which means you're spending 5,000 CeFi, and it's burning all along. So this is kind of similar to a couple other lotteries in the ecosystem and how the gameplay works. You're going to get 6-digit numbers. So instead of like I got a card with 60 different numbers and you pick 5, you can have the choice of having these numbers automatically generated, or you can pick your own numbers, which means that since it's a 6-digit number, that there's exactly 1 million different possibilities, 1 million different possibilities of winning. So you and 2,000 other people can all make 500, and you can literally buy every single ticket and guarantee that you win. So once it's plus EV, you can actually game it and guarantee money, which is good because the more volume you get, the more CeFi is burned. The more it goes into the tool. So the way this works is, like, I got a couple examples here. So if the top one, the 682249 is the winning number, if you don't match the first number, your ticket lost. So the second option here, the 788249, like it has all of the other 5 numbers match. It doesn't matter. It's only based on the first numbers you get in a row. And
cool. And it's still beneficial for the CeFi to, even though you can game it kind of to be plus even money, it's still beneficial for CeFi.
It's
or the ecosystem, I should say.
Yeah, because so it's a burn is considered a supply sink. So if price is based on supply and demand, by lowering the supply, the demand will start to outweigh it. And so not only will this burn 1% of CeFi, but it's also going to, at least for quite a while, remove more than that from the immediate circulating supply. So this is absolutely a very neat and gameable supply sink. So the five different parts are the prize pool and reserve pool, the trigger, which operating costs, and the CeFi burn, and then the prize pools are going to be staking.
Okay.
So the breakdown: 1% of all the CeFi that comes in will be burned, gone from supply forever. Again, CeFi has a maximum supply of 1 billion. We've already burned. We'll find out exactly how many soon, but we've already burned CeFi. And the more that gets burned, the lower the maximum supply goes. And the lower the maximum supply goes, the bigger your piece of the pie gets. Because even if you're not staking, even if you're not earning more CeFi, just if you have, 100 CeFi out of 1 billion, then you have 100 CeFi out of 99 million, or like as the total supply goes down, your percentage of it goes up.
So 1%, that's 1 million, right? 1% of a billion's a million?
It would be 10 million. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
0.01% is 1 million of a billion.
Or 0.1%. But yeah, so this wouldn't be based on the total supply. This is just based on the money that comes in for the people that choose to play the lottery. Again, it's not mandatory. It's an optional game. But as the prizes get higher and higher, which even if nobody's playing, the fact that the pools will be staking, the prizes will keep getting higher. Like people are going to want to play it. People are going to want to game the system. At some point, the switch flips and it's like, well, now if I play it, I'm actually expected to make money. Like, why not do this? Or if you're collecting your rewards and you're like, okay, I earned 200 CeFi over the last 2 days through liquidity providing, that's a couple bucks. Or screw it, let's throw it at this game and see if I can make it tens of thousands of dollars,
So what kind of prize pools would people be looking at here by playing?
So we haven't decided on the initial liquidity yet, because you can't just throw this game out there with nothing in the prize pools and hope people play it. So I'm part of the CeFi executive committee. I've floated this by. They like investing in this because we've made this so it will be a self-sustaining model. We should be able to fund it once up front, and then it should keep on going and replicating itself and growing long term and being successful, and we shouldn't have to keep funding it. So like CakeSwap does a similar type of lottery, but not only are they super centralized and have an inflationary token, whereas ours has a max supply, but they just, like, because they inflate their own token so often, they can just keep throwing money at it. That's not sustainable for us. But with a reserve pool, so 9% of all the money that comes in will be in a reserve pool. When a sequence 4 or higher, so the top 3 jackpots hit, some of that reserve pool will go back in so the jackpot doesn't reset at 0. So if like the top jackpot does hit, yes, it's going to go down, but it's not going to go down to 0, and it will keep going up as it stakes.
It's pretty clever here, Eric. Pretty clever. It would get people excited, though. Like you said, this would get people like excited and having fun in the ecosystem.
And I'm really active in gambling communities, especially in advantage player communities, like with card counting and other podcasts and whatnot that are familiar with different types of advantage plays. There's never been anything like an advantage play lottery. And this is just one example. There are more ways that DeFi gaming can be profitable with all the stuff with all that can be going on with the money, all the ways you can compound. Like we talked about Duplex and Shade a little bit. Like there are so many cool things that can be done that aren't mutually exclusive with other opportunities. It's fascinating.
Is there another slide to this year, or is this the end of the slide?
Yeah, I'll just walk through a little bit how it works. Like, for example, if these were the prize pools and like a sequence 4 hits, if you hit like a sequence 4, you also hit every single prize pool beneath it. So if 2 people hit a sequence 3, they'll both share all of those. So if 10 people hit a sequence 1, in this example, they'll all be splitting the 10 to find the prize pool. So you're going to have to hit something big to make money. It's a lottery. That makes sense. Buy more tickets, get a discount.
Right.
But here, like a sequence 4, if it hits, it would be replaced with 1% of the reserve pool. The big conditions of the reserve pools would come out when a sequence 5 or sequence 6 hits. So like here, we've got 3 different winning tickets. This is from the example I used earlier on. And so all 3 of them hit sequence 1. They all split 1/3 of it. Only 2 of them hit sequence 2 and 3. They both split the half. So the person here that, based on this prize pool, that hit the sequence 3 only got 33. but the person that hit sequence 5 won 92,000 CFI. Like that is a huge amount based on a 10 CFI investment.
Oh, humongous.
So, yeah. So get together with other people. You can buy more than 500 tickets. You can keep buying more and more. You can pick the tickets. You can literally get people together and buy 1 million tickets. And if you do that, 89% of the money you spend on that will be added to the prize pool and you'd win it back. So all you really need is it to be over 11% of the cost it would be, and you're already expected to make money. It's
So the cool part about this is the CFI is so much more liquid because it doesn't have the 21-day on staking period. So like there's a lot of CFI to be thrown around here. If we tried to do the same thing on something like Secret, it'd be like such a smaller pool to be choosing from.
Yep. Yeah. So in this example, again, a little bit like the 5% of the reserve pool would go to sequence 5. And so the reserve pool is still stuff that can't be won. So as the reserve pool keeps building up, it's not a burn, but it's locked away. Even if you hit a grand prize, you cannot win that. And even if you do, only 89% of it goes back into the prize pool. So it is removed from circulation, just not permanently. But yeah, the higher it gets, the more people play. And also the CFI lottery is governed by CFI. So as the prize pools get really higher and people are incentivized to play it, we can just vote in to raise the burn. Like we can change the parameters as a community to change how this works. As the price of CFI goes much and much higher, and 10 is too much, we can lower the price of a ticket, which then immediately makes the prize pools that much more attractive because they wouldn't change.
Sure.
So we can't just like vote ourselves in to like take the money that's been invested in there by people who've played it and just like take it. But we can change the parameters of the game to make it more gameable or to make it more beneficial to CFI or to incentivize it in different ways. It's so cool. And all this does is add utility. And there's no team that's getting money from it. The guy who built it, named Fabio, wonderful, brilliant dude. He got a grant to build it. But there's no team. There's no people that are pocketing it, that are like siphoning money out of it. This exists for the community. It is completely decentralized, completely automated. 1% goes back to buy Secret, so it covers its own operational costs, and that's also good for Secret. We want more things that use it, so they'll buy back for it. And 1% burned. So it's good for Secret. It's good for CFI. It adds utility to the community, and it's really cool and marketable. I'm going to be going on other shows and talking about it. So you're the first show to get to hear it, and I put out a little bit.
Hey, that's what the Radical Self-Respect audience gets.
Yeah.
Some pre-release news.
Yeah.
So is there a timeline on this coming out here, or is that still in the works?
It is ready.
Ah.
It's ready. We're putting dev pool funding, and just make sure that everything's right with the UI. With the Secret Swap committee meeting. So if you guys go there, we've already been I've even live gone through a couple rounds on the test net, and we've set up a Google Doc. I've had 12 or 13 people test it together, and it's good. It's awesome. It works.
Does it need to pass a vote first before we go on, or before it becomes live, or it already did?
No, it doesn't need to, because it doesn't cost money. We don't have to be like, hey, the dev pool is investing in it, but like it's completely for the community. We're not giving people money for this. So we're gonna put it out there and not make it wait another week. The only thing we've really been holding out on is like governance is down right now, but also the earn contracts are down. We don't really want to. The Twitter page has been quiet for the last 2-3 weeks while we've been going through everything, because we don't want to attract everybody in while the APYs show up as 0, while the CFI contract is paused.
Makes sense.
When we hit the ground running with high APYs, with potentially exchange listings, we're going to have more and more marketable activities that we're going to be like, all right, guys, we're ready. Come on in. If there is a big announcement with NFTs, which I'm really hoping for, and we get more eyes on the network, we have one more thing to offer people. All right, come on in. Oh, what's a CFI token? What does it do? Like, well, it governs secret financial applications, such as Secret Swap and future applications that can be built. Maybe we'll have a Secret Swap Lens program. Maybe we'll develop Secret Swap in ways that are new and offer more than, like, I know people are viewing like, oh, well, isn't Sienna a competitor? Right now, our vision's a lot bigger than that. We absolutely plan on working with Sienna, and we're going to evolve in different directions. We're not fighting over one small pie. We're going to grow the pie, and we're going to work together. There's so much.
So a few things here now, because you've been doing a lot of good work for Secret here, and on behalf of me and everyone else, we're all very grateful for what you've been doing between the podcast and what you're doing with the governance committee and now this lottery here too. Like it's pretty impressive all the stuff you've gotten done, especially in such a short amount of time. And so early next week, is that when we're expecting the rewards to come back for CFI?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a good thing too. I think people will be very happy to see that, see their numbers going up again in that way.
Me too.
And
I'm on hold too. I'm waiting. I've been liquidity
oh,
providing since the day we could.
absolutely, everybody. And I was going to ask about Sienna. What is Sienna's relationship to Secret?
So Sienna is their own independent team that
Okay.
they're their own independent company that is built. Sienna itself isn't a company, so that was made clear to me. But they raised money. They started their own token. They have their own team. They're independent of Secret Network. They're built on Secret Network. So everything done on Sienna will still cost Secret for gas, and that's really the goal of Layer 1. We want as many organizations as possible. Yes, and so there is conversations with the community. They don't work for Secret, but obviously they're collaborating. They want both to succeed because it's best for both. And like I had Monty Munford there. I think his actual role is called Sienna Evangelist, which is cool. Great dude. I had him on my podcast and we talked about Sienna a bit. It's they have a lot of experience with marketing. And so if there are ways to get people involved in 401ks and get companies invested in DeFi, they're not going to do it if all the investments are public. That's one of the huge things in Secret Network. And Sienna's one of the first big teams to recognize that and just attempting to go after that market. So I hope they succeed. I hope it's great.
Sure.
And I hope we're able to collaborate and grow the SPY into something special.
Sure. Because I mean, right now in particular, even just Secret Swap, it's very easy to use. Like to people that might be concerned about it, like you go on there, you get your Kepler, you get the Chrome extension, and then you get on Secret Swap. It's simple. It's so simple to use. Like the only thing I think people could screw up with some of the stuff is not putting a high gas fee on. I see people mess that up sometimes. Like I always put the highest gas fee when I swap Secret for CFI. And it's a quick and easy experience too. So I know we were talking all about the CFI. In case people who don't know, like you buy Secret, and that's the other thing for Binance right now. It's getting a little tough. They're finally doing KYC nonsense for a lot of people. But my way out of that, and I saw this in the Telegram the other day, was Mandela. Mandela, the cloud service of Binance that doesn't have nothing to do with the real Binance, but it's the cloud service. Very easy to still buy Secret on there. And so since I'm in America, that's what I do. Is that how you do it too, by the way? What do you do for it?
So I finally,
you don't want to say?
Binance finally got me. I'm not going to say I use a VPN in the United States, but I have noticed my withdrawal limit has decreased, and that's frustrating. Sure. So I do need to look into Mandela.
Binance kicked me off a while ago too. That's why I'm on Mandela.
My favorite way to buy Secret is on Secret Swap, is using the bridges. And right now the Ethereum, so hopefully we have easier ways to access and go across the Binance Smart Chain bridge soon, because that's much cheaper and faster. But also once we have IBC integration and we're on Osmosis and have some of the Cosmos ecosystem tokens on Secret Swap, Cosmos is listed on Coinbase. You could get Cosmos, take that to Osmosis, buy Secret there,
and then swap the Secret. That will probably be the easiest way.
Yeah.
I would probably even do it that way myself, honestly, as opposed to buying through Mandela. And so right now, we went over this last time, but if someone didn't watch last time, you buy Ethereum right now. How do you convert Ethereum to Secret using a bridge like right now?
Bridge.scrt.network.
Okay, so you probably use Coinbase to buy Ethereum, and then you send Ethereum to
MetaMask. You send Ethereum to your MetaMask, and the bridge will connect your MetaMask and your Kepler wallets. Just a heads up, if you guys want to do it, great way to do it. The Ethereum gas prices are unreal. Like Ethereum's so unusable to your everyday Joe. It's the people that have been in crypto since 2011 that are super filthy rich now that are like, I don't mind spending $300 on a transaction because 10 billion now. I wanted to use the bridge today and it was going to be $270, and I'm like, better not.
Ethereum's going to have problems with that, man. If Ethereum's going to, something bad's going to happen with that, because is that going to change once their what is it? Their Ethereum 2.0 comes out? Is that their goal? Will the gas prices finally go down when that happens?
It just seems like it's going to get more and more centralized, and they'll have even more and more miner extracted value. I don't know. Even then, I don't think Ethereum's sustainable long term because it doesn't have data privacy. So it's going to rely heavily on layer 2s and layer 3s, and that's going to be expensive and slow. And the whole idea of secret network is it's easier to build private by default and then bring transparency. It's going to be very difficult and expensive to add privacy later on to something that's public by default. And I don't think it's going to be practical, and I don't think it's going to work. So if you're comfortable using Polygon, then you can go for it, get lower gas fees right now. I'd just rather use Binance Smart Chain. Just the bridge for there is going to be less than $1.
So yeah, I mean, that's filling a huge need. BSC, that's one of the reasons, or Binance Coin, that's one of the reasons why I went to the moon, I think, is because it was filling that need that Ethereum created from having too high gas fees.
Yeah, people want to participate in DeFi, and they don't want to spend arms and legs to do it.
So I guess that would be a temporary concern in the future, though, too. Like if Ethereum, if it actually kind of falls in its face at some point, it'd be very interesting to see what would happen in the market. Like, would the market reflect terribly, or would the money diffuse out into other areas? I really don't know what would happen, but I don't want Ethereum to fail for that reason, because I don't want to know what could happen with that. It's like there's a lot of money in Ethereum right now. It may as well find a way to work somehow.
Same with Bitcoin. Right now, everything in crypto is pegged to Bitcoin, and that decoupling's sort of starting. But at the same time, if Bitcoin does fail, if it doesn't scale, if it does become harder and harder to use and the market for it just crashes, the reason I'm primarily in Secret Network is I don't know if Bitcoin's going to succeed long term. I don't know if it's going to infinity or zero. My guess is somewhere in between, but it's a pretty wide margin. But
I think Bitcoin would be okay, though, because it can still transfer payments. It's still a store of value. It's like a digital gold. So for those things, I think it serves its purpose for those things.
My thing is
Ethereum,
either way, Secret Network's going to succeed. Either way, the technology has to exist. Even if the dollar wins, even if we turn that around, or it's a digital dollar and it scales and it works with everything. Either way, we need distributed ledgers that have data privacy, that enable tons and tons of new types of applications that optimize more than just marketing, that bring sustainable and new ways of monetizing your artisanry and your art. Like Secret Network is safe regardless of the global crypto market, and there are very few that I think can say that. Earlier you talked about the tulip bubble, and I don't know that we are that different from the .com bubble. I do think that most coins and projects will fail, but the ones that
good
succeed,
thing,
but the ones that succeed are going to be unreal, and I think that's secret.
Yeah, so I mean, as long as DeFi is a thing, secret will be a thing. That's my thoughts on the matter. As long as decentralized finance is a thing, and it's going to be in the real world, there will need to be a secret. A secret will have a place. So, I guess that's kind of a good place to try to wrap things up here. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, or anything at all?
I'm excited for the month of October.
Keep it short and sweet. Yeah, I agree. And so you could tell people where to find your podcast, the Secret Code Podcast. Is it on all the podcast apps, or?
It's on every podcast app. You can check out secretcodepodcast.com as our website, and also on YouTube, we're Secret Code. But if you just type in Secret Code Podcast, it'll show up. I recommend the YouTube. While all of our podcast episodes are on YouTube, not all of our YouTube content is on the podcast apps, and we'll be coming out with more tutorials and whatnot soon. So that will, we're trying to fill in the gap so that as we are ready to scale the tons and tons of eyes that get pointed towards Secret Network, there's more educational content and more places to go to learn about Secret Network for all the new people.
Sure. So yeah, in closing, we get to some possible listings here to look forward to for C5. We got some C5 lottery, a lot of big things on the itinerary here. So again, but thank you very much for meeting the rest of the community for all the work you've been doing. Because I know, especially during that rough time a couple of weeks ago, all the people were working around the clock basically to make sure things were going to be okay. So we're very grateful for all that.
Jared, thanks for having me on, man. I love your channel. I love everything you're doing. And young people, if you were able to make it through it and all of my jargon and everything, if you don't have money and you don't want to put $100 away a week or a month or something, the best way is to get involved, get in a community, work, earn Bitcoin, earn secret, become a secret agent. It doesn't matter what capabilities you don't think you have. There's something for what capabilities you do have.
Absolutely. Good final thoughts there, Eric. All right, guys. Over and out. Thanks for watching.